Welcome to the second section of this initiative, and this one's about electronic components, and it introduces all sorts of amazing things. And the first one we're going to look at is something called Ohm's law, which comes into everything we do with electronics. We've got here on this board some resistors and a circuit with a battery, a switch and an ammeter. And the voltmeter is telling us what voltage we're getting out of the two batteries. Now, a resistor will reduce the flow of current through a circuit. And it's given a value in ohms, and it has this funny symbol at the end which is meaning ohms. Now, all the resistors on this board are 100 ohms, and we'll look at the one on its own first. We can work out what current we should be getting by knowing the voltage and the number of ohms. And the way we do that is through one of these three formulas here. And if we take the volts and we divide it by the number of ohms, that will give us the current. So if I press this button, we're getting about 2.5 volts, and we've got about 25 milliamps. And if we take 2.5 and we divide it by 100, we're going to get the number 0.025, which in milliamps is 25. And that's Ohm's law. The idea that if we've got two of the three values, the current, the voltage and the resistance, we can work out the third. That's how we work out the current. If we want to work out the number of volts, we take the current in amps, not milliamps, and we multiply it by the resistance. That will give us the volts. Or if we want to know the number of ohms, the resistance, we can take the voltage and we can divide it by the current. Now, if we move this across to the second option, option B, we've got two 100 ohm resistors, and because they are in series, then the total resistance that we get from the two of them is 200 ohms. So when I press the button this time, we're getting half the current. We're getting about 12 or so milliamps, and if we take 2.5 and we divide that by 200, we'll get 0.012 amps or 12 milliamps. And if we have two 100 ohm resistors in parallel, then the total resistance of the two of them will halve. So that means it's 50 ohms. So this time we're going to see double the current that we had with the 100 ohms. There it goes. It's about 48. Got a bit of a dodgy switch here. I think that needs changing. So there we are. An introduction to resistors and ohms, an introduction to Ohm's law, which tells us that if we know two of the three things here, we can work out the third. Those three things being the voltage, the current and the resistance. And so much we're going to look at in a little while is based on this.